So we're going to tell you how this all works, and then we want to talk to you about anything that is important to you. You are beautiful in your bodies. Do you know it? And you are source energy in your bodies. Do you know that? And do you know that while you are in these bodies, vibrant and alive and flowing, do you know that the larger part of you still remains non-physically focused? Sometimes you refer to that non-physical part of you as your soul, your source. We refer to it as all of that, but also your inner being. It's the God force that is really you. It's the furthermost expanded version of you. So you were only non-physical energy before you came into this body. And when you were only non-physical energy, that singular energy stream was pure non-physical energy, meaning it was a very high, clear, pure vibration that held no resistance that would be discernible from your vantage point at all. Pure, positive energy, a sort of swirling love of well-being and knowing, a literal culmination of all that you have become. The best of all life culminated there in that pure energy. And then a part of that energy projected forward or was summoned by the body that was being created within the womb of your mother. And as that energy was summoned into this physical time-space reality, and you came forth and focused into that body, now you have two vibrational vantage points, the non-physical vantage point of pure positive energy and the physical vantage point of whatever it is that has your attention now. So in the moment that you were born, the potential of splitting your energy occurred. And by splitting your energy, we don't mean something has gone wrong. We mean, just like you intended, you came forth to focus. And when you began to focus, even before you could speak, long before you could walk, in the moment that you were born and began to assess your awareness of your environment, you began to offer vibrational frequencies in response to your observations. And when you did that, those frequencies began to emanate, and they began to play a vibrational part with the vibrational emanation from your source. So as this infant, in your first view of physical life, that part of you moved ever so slightly away from the pure positive energy of who you really are. The reason that we are telling you the story in this way is because we want you right now, finally, to acknowledge that you, have two vivid vibrational vantage points. And those vibrational vantage points are playing off of one another all day, every day. That's what your emotions are. When you, in your body, are focused upon something in the way that the source within you focuses, for example, you are appreciating your body and you are loving life, the exhilaration that you feel is because your focused thought and the focused thought of the source within you about the same subject at the same time is a perfect match. So in your fusion, in your blending, in your alignment, in your closing of this gap, in your allowing of your complete connection with who you are, you feel the full vitality of source flowing through you in this actively focused human physical leading edge time-space moment. The best of life. When you are loving someone, perfect fusion. When you are hating someone, not even close. When you are feeling your worthiness, perfect fusion. When you are feeling insecure or unworthy, not even close. We want you to begin to utilize your emotions to let you know the most important thing that you will ever come to wonder about, and that is your relationship with who you are. Because when you pay attention to the relationship between you and you, now in your being tuned in, tapped in, turned on to the energy of you, to the fullness of you, to that which you call God force, to the energy that creates worlds, in that alignment and only in that alignment can you even begin to live your life in the way that you've intended. You are source energy. You didn't come forth to prove worthiness. You came forth as a worthy creator, eager to take thought beyond that which it has been before. And you knew that as you poured yourself into this physical body and into the contrast that surrounds you, you knew that the contrast would inspire new desires. You knew that they would emanate from you constantly. And that's exactly what happens. The contrast helps you to know what you don't want, know what you do want. Isn't that the way contrast always works? Do you realize that without vibrational contrast, you couldn't see anything? That it's only because of contrast, photographers know it, that you can even pick things out. Have you ever looked at a polar bear in a snowstorm? He's hard to see. But when you realize that you are living in this variety of contrast to help you to focus, and that the energy that you feel is always your awareness of how you are focusing it, whether you are focusing in your physical body away from your broader knowing, or whether you are utilizing this broader knowing while you are focused here, that's really what the art of allowing is all about. You are creators. Creators are always looking forward into what is becoming, not backward or downward into what is. When you are driving your vehicle, hopefully you're looking where you're going, not where you've been, and not where you are. You don't have those mirrors. They would make you sick if you had them. They'll look right down at the road, right where you are. Think about that. You wouldn't want to go very fast under those conditions, would you? You're just looking right down at where you are. You want to look forward to where you're going, and we want you to understand that as you become forward-looking, and by forward-looking we mean as you become one who looks in the direction not only of that which you want, but hear this, looks in the direction of that which the larger part of you has already become. Did you hear that? Can you hear the importance of your step one part of this process? Contrast causes you to ask and source the inner being that is you, the God within you, the all that isness, collects the data of the best of life. Now we want to ask you a question. When you know what you don't want, when you see someone rude, when you see a mass murder, when you see some abhorrent experience, when you see something that you really, really, really know that you don't want, when you see people suffering, when you see people encouraging suffering, when you see those things you don't want to see, whether it's humans or animals or earth, when you see something you don't want to see, do you understand that in that moment you offer an equal and a commensurate and exactly equal, proportionate request that is exactly on the other side of what you don't want? In other words, when you're really sick, you really ask for wellness. If you're sort of sick, you sort of ask for wellness. If you're sort of confused, you sort of ask for clarity. If you're really confused, you really ask for clarity. In other words, your request is always proportionate to what you are allowing yourself to live. And for that reason, in this time of greatest diversity, which is a good thing, not a bad thing, as you are mixing it up with one another, you are asking massively. And as you don't allow yourself as individuals to go in the direction of what you're asking for, it just causes you to ask harder and stronger and more often. So that the requests that this time-space reality are sending forth into the vibrational escrow of mass consciousness is bigger and faster and more than it has ever been before. This stream is moving fast, and the answering to what you're asking for is happening in greater abundance than ever before. This pool of abundance that you have requested is at its all-time high and getting greater in every day, which means your propensity for thriving is greater than it has ever been. Your propensity for suffering is greater than it has ever been also. Because it's always equal. In other words, when who you have become is more and you don't let yourself become it, you don't feel so good. Fortunately, as individuals, you don't have to wait for everybody to figure it out before you have the ease of alignment. You get to individually go with the flow of that which you have become, and when you do, you come into alignment with who you are. So step one is you ask. Step two is source answers. Step three is you got to find some way somehow to become a vibrational match to what you've been asking for. Otherwise, you don't get what you've been asking for, but that's not the worst part of it. It's not that you just don't get what you want. It's that you don't be who you are. That's the thing that makes you feel negative emotion. You don't feel negative emotion because you're depriving yourself, and you are depriving yourself because nobody else could ever deprive you of anything. But you don't feel negative emotion because you have deprived yourself of the lover you want, or of the car you want, of the resources you want. You are feeling negative emotion because you are depriving yourself of the state of being that you are. You are secure. And when you feel insecure, there's some depriving going on. And it's not us, it's you doing it. When you are angry, you are depriving yourself because who you really are is one who loves. When you do not have enough of something wanted, it is you who is depriving yourself. But what you are wanting is alignment more than the stuff you think you want. Now, we want you to want all that stuff. We want you because you're out here in the leading edge. Someone said yesterday, well, not so sure that this stuff I want is really as spiritual as I want to be. And we say, this stuff out here on the leading edge is the extension of what spirit is. There is nothing that is not spiritual about your materialism because you are the extension of source energy. But there is a physical aspect of you that is out of sync with the spirit that is you. Just as there are physical aspects of you that are in sync with the spirit that is you. So it is not materialism that is tripping you up. It is having asked for that which source has endorsed and become, and then holding yourself in vibrational opposition to it that makes you begin to write books about the inappropriateness of wanting material things. There isn't anything that you want that is material that you want for any other reason than that you believe you would feel better in the having of it. So this is just our way, and we are thrilled at the aha moment you just had. This is just our way of reminding you that often you are looking for love in all the wrong places. In other words, you're looking for the purchase to make you feel better, or the love of another to make you feel better, or the accolades from the public to make you feel better, when all along what you want and need in order to feel better is to find vibrational alignment with the point of view that Source has about the same subject that you are focused upon. That's what you're looking for. This vibrational reality is the precursor to everything that you know as a full-blown manifestations. So when life causes you to ask for an improvement, it becomes immediately, and all cooperative components are assembled. The question that we want to help you to discover within yourselves are you a cooperative component? Are you a cooperative component? So as Jerry leaves things in the car out of Esther's purse, or takes things out of her suitcase and doesn't get them back in, and Esther launches rockets of desire, I like to keep my things with me. I like to know where they are. I like them to be where I last left them. And it works both ways with them and all of you. As she launches those rockets of desire, law of attraction assembles all cooperative components. Now, if Esther looks at Jerry and announces to herself and to the world, and especially to him, that he is not a cooperative component of what she wants, then Esther is also not a cooperative component to what she wants. In other words, what she wants and what she's getting are vibrationally miles apart because she's not a match to what she wants. Now, she could justify all day, every day why she's not a vibrational match, but that is beside the point. And that's what we want you to hear. Of course, sometimes you feel utterly justified in your stance as you push against what you do not want. We just want you to know that every time you're doing it, every time you're talking about it, every time you're complaining about it, every time you're feeling negative emotion about it, you are an uncooperative component to what you do want. And as long as you remain, no matter how justified you are, everyone on the planet, we could take a vote, who's right, who's wrong, who's right, who's wrong. In this room, 50% would say Jerry's right, 50% would say Esther's right. Well, maybe not quite that. How many men are there? It's beside the point. It does not matter. It does not matter how justified you are in pointing out that something is not happening the way you want it to. You still are using it as your excuse not to be in the vortex. And we want you to understand that your work as a deliberate creator, the only thing that you need to give conscious attention to is your relationship to this vortex, which contains all things that you've been asking for. We have enjoyed this interaction more than words can convey. It is exhilarating to come together with you and feel the power and clarity of your being. And we want to compliment you on your patience and willingness to stay focused for hours on end on concepts that in many cases are new, while you